Good evening, welcome to Central News for Thursday the 12th of December. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Marketplace is a new markets concept coming to Hamilton this December. The market will feature homemade and vintage goods and is being cited as a great place to pick up some unique Christmas gifts. The first marketplace is being held this Saturday, the 14th of December, at Hillcrest Chapel in Hamilton. Market creator Kelly Pike says Marketplace is a must for all vintage lovers.
The first marketplace is this coming Saturday, the 14th, 8 till 12 p.m. There's heaps of parking around. It's at Hillcrest Chapel, which is on Masters Ave in Hillcrest, Hamilton. We'd love for people to come down and have a look. Lots of vintage and retro items on offer and lots of handmade items by locals. As
we begin the silly season, there is a warning being issued to all those who struggle with gambling, as there can often be a spike in gambling harm during this time. Cheryl Smith from the Gambling Foundation of New Zealand says that many people struggle financially at Christmas time, which can become even more problematic if a family member is also gambling.
Yeah, I think when people are short of money especially, and Christmas can be a time of pressure, pays to just check out like where is the money going, and if you're needing some help, you know, before Christmas to put some safety things in place so everyone can have a happy and relaxed Christmas, I think now's the time to address that.
Tsunami evacuation signs are to be installed in downtown Mount Maunganui next week, the first of a series that will eventually be installed along the city's coastlines. The signs being installed in the area between Banks Avenue, west to Mawao, have been developed in conjunction with the Bay of Plenty Regional Civil Defence Emergency Management Group Office and New Zealand Police. Information on the new evacuation signs will point to Mawao as the nearest safe zone for everyone who is within walking distance of the mountain. Council Emergency Management and Safety Manager Paul Bonton says the biggest tsunami threat to Tauranga City is one which would arrive 50 minutes after a major earthquake. Now for our region's weather, Hamilton, cloud increasing with a few showers and dying northwesterlies. Your expected high is 25 and an overnight low of 11. Friday for you, Tauranga, will be sunny spells with afternoon showers and light winds. Your expected high is 24 and an overnight low of 14. Just ahead, smartphones and boats. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. A free new smartphone app has been launched, giving water users across New Zealand easy access to all the information they'll need when heading out onto the water this summer. Harriet went along to the Regional Council and found out about the features of the app.
Well, it's got lots of different features. Probably the biggest one would be the tides times. It's got all of the boat ramp information and all of the bylaw information. And it's all represented all graphically, so you don't have to go through and read screeds and screeds of notes. And it means that it's easy access for people to be able to go through and grab the app. They don't have to have lots of different bylaw books or anything like that.
And who's been working on developing MarineMate?
That's a very long list of people actually. The Waikato Regional Council own the IP for the app, and basically we've put together a project group of a lot of different people from around the country in central and local government. So our main contributors to that are Maritime New Zealand, Water Safety New Zealand and ACC, and one of our big partners in there who have got a lot of information on there themselves is Land Information New Zealand.
So what does MarineMate now mean for boaties?
Well, we're sort of hoping that it'll reach a little bit further than boaties. It'll sort of help all different types of water users. So if you're a kayaker on the water and you want to go somewhere to learn how to do something, or a stand-up paddleboarder getting used to something for the first time, you can look at the app and know where to go to find a non-powered zone, so you're not going to get affected by people's wake. Or if you're going to a different lake that you've never been to before, then you'll be able to look at the app and know where the different ski lanes are. And it just means that the different types of things that you do, you know where to go to get the best out of that activity.
And how will it help when it comes to boating on different waterways around our country and keeping them safe?
So a lot of people don't realise that there's different bylaws all around the country. So each regional council has their own bylaw, and that can mean some slightly different things in different places. So you can cross over a line and not realise that there's different rules. So this means that your smartphone app will actually pick up which region you're in and show you the differences. For example, if you are a boatie in the Bay of Plenty and you come across to Hamilton or go up to Auckland or Northland, even to Taupo, you need a boat name on your boat and also a jet ski registration, whereas in Bay of Plenty you don't need one. So your app will actually pick that up and it'll tell you about that, so it means that you can get that done before you enter the water, or you can go and see your local harbour master and get your jet ski registered before you jump on the water.
So are there any restrictions as to where this app will work when it comes to coverage and that sort of thing?
Well, when we were developing the app, we were quite conscious that lots of different waterways, either coastal or inland, you drop out of cell phone range quite quickly, and that's whether you're in Northland, on the Manawatu, or down in Queenstown Lakes. So what we wanted to do is make sure that you didn't have to be in a Wi-Fi area or 3G, and so the app contains all the information in the phone. Just means that if you do happen to drop out of cell phone range, all the information's there and you can see whereabouts you're going or what restrictions there are in that area. It's especially helpful and if you're on the Waikato River and you're coming near a hydro dam.
And why would you encourage people to download MarineMate? I guess what are the benefits to individuals?
I think if you're a boatie or a water user, there's lots of different information on there that's going to help you. It's going to help you have a much fun day. Boat ramps are different all around the country. They're made of different things, whether it be concrete. It tells you whether or not the boat ramps are useful at all different tides, and also if you need to have a boat ramp fee. So all of that's in there for the whole country. There's around about 1,000 boat ramps loaded on there. If you happen to be out at sea and you've crossed a bar and it's too rough to come back, the weather's changed while you're out there, you can look at your app and you can see the nearest alternative boat ramp rather than trying to cross back into that one. That can be quite a risk for boaties while they're out there. If you're going to a different area, it means that you don't. You can actually look at everything on your app rather than sort of going into the councils and getting all the sort of bulky information. You end up with lots of brochures, and on the boat they can get a bit wet. If you're got your phone, you can actually go through and you've got everything for the whole of New Zealand.
Now, your team are going to be out and about giving away some freebies this summer, so can you tell us a bit more about those?
We've been very, very lucky to have support in Water Safety New Zealand and ACC. So they have a boating educational fund, and this is what it is. It's basically an educational tool. And what we're doing is various councils have been sent just a sample of these, and it has the QR code for MarineMate, so you just scan that and it'll go through to App Store. And it's also got the some of them, depending on which part of the country you're in, it could have something about telecom cables, the fishing app, which MPI have, or the boating code, which is what we've got here.
And what happens when people first log into the app?
When you first log in, there's 5 quick questions, and those questions help us to make the app get better as we go on. So it's what type of user you are, whether you're non-powered, kayak, rowing, powerboat or fishing. And it just means that we ask some simple questions around safety equipment so that we know how to make the app better.
So finally, tell us how we can download MarineMate.
So downloading that's very easy. It's on Apple and Android, so you just go to your app stores, and there's also a really neat YouTube clip that you can sort of have a look at and just see all the different types of things that you can do with MarineMate.
Remember, heading into summer, this app, MarineMate, has all you need to know to stay safe on our waterways. Download for free on your smartphone from the App Store. Coming up next, scholarships for the Waikato. Welcome back. 3 school leavers from Matamata College have each been awarded a $6,000 scholarship to pay for their first year of tertiary education at Wintec or the University of Waikato. Their windfall comes from the Dave Johnston Charitable Trust. We caught up with one of the students in studio to hear more.
So first of all, congratulations on receiving your scholarship.
Thank you.
Can you tell us what you had to do to apply?
So at school we had senior education, and the teachers asked us if we wanted to be considered for the scholarship to put our names down. And I put my name down for the science category. And we found out a couple of weeks later who was selected, and fortunately I was. So it was good. And then me and my dean worked for a few days applying on the online application and like getting our personal statement perfect and finding references. So, and then we just applied, and yeah, that was pretty much it.
Very cool. Now, how much of a relief was it to receive that money? And I guess how has it changed your situation going into next year?
Yeah, it was a huge relief just knowing that that's $6,000 I don't have to find, and like my family don't have to find. It's going to be a huge help towards my papers, and next year I'm able to stay at the halls. I was just going to drive over every day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's a big change.
Definitely, a huge difference. So tell us what you are going on to study next year at the University of Waikato.
Bachelor of Science Technology, majoring in biology.
And what inspired you to pursue a career in science?
I had the most amazing biology teacher ever. Mr. Garrett, he was pretty awesome, and he was just so passionate, and it kind of like inspired me to just want to know more, and just like biology is such a huge field. There's always going to be new things to learn. So yeah, he was kind of, yeah.
And tell us about the job that you're working in at the moment, and I guess how that's sort of shaping what you hope to do with your degree in the future.
Well, I'm working at JSWAP Stock Food Call Centre, and I've been working there for nearly 2 weeks just after I finished my last exam. And just the huge dairy industry, just knowing, like they have over 10,000 clients, and there's so many calls every day wanting food. So just knowing that the agricultural sector in New Zealand is such a huge industry, wanting to kind of, like there's always going to be a job. So maybe I'm going to do an agricultural paper next year just to give me that edge and be able to maybe get into transgenesis with cattle and helping farmers produce the best cows for milking and stuff. So yeah, so genetics quite interests me. So
yeah, awesome. Now tell us what's going to be happening at the awards ceremony when you go on to receive the award for your scholarship.
Okay, well there's 200 guests, and they're mostly just the students, their families and teachers. Rob Waddell, the chef de mission from the Commonwealth and Olympic Games, he's our guest speaker, and he will be speaking. Then we'll be called up one by one to be acknowledged for being successful. And then we get a photo with Rob and the Guardian Trust, which won't take that long, hopefully. And the Guardian Trust scholarship people, they'll be there, like the representatives, and David Johnson's niece will also be there. So
it's going to be a very exciting occasion.
Yeah, tomorrow night should be
awesome.
Good.
Now, do you have to meet any ongoing requirements after receiving your scholarship next year?
Not that I know of. I don't think so, but of course I'll be willing to meet any requirements that they ask of me. So yeah.
Fantastic. And tell us a bit more about the David Johnston Charitable Trust and what it's all about.
Well, it helps with secondary school graduates. It's an annual scholarship. It's usually about $5,000. This year it was $6,000 because I think there were less people that applied. And it helps students that are studying science or teaching degrees at Waikato or going on to Wintec, the Waikato Institute of Technology, just helping out financially for people that live in the Waikato region.
Awesome. Now, if people may be watching who are still in high school and they want to put themselves in a position where they may be able to go on to receive a scholarship, do you have any tips or advice for putting yourself in the best position to do that?
I would just say, like, do everything you can, like take advantage of your opportunities, do every sport you want to do and take on any role you can, because it's all going to help just putting yourself out there. And school's not going to be forever, like it's over before you know it. I had no idea it was finishing, and then it was finished. So yeah, just do everything you can at school and just enjoy it, because it's going to be over pretty quickly.
Very good advice. Now, what are you most excited about going into next year?
Well, I'm excited and scared about leaving home. I think everyone is. Just knowing that I'm going to have to look after myself and be independent. But it's kind of cool, like not having to go to anyone to tell them what you're doing or whatever. And just being, because I'm staying at the halls, just being with everyone that are in the same boat as me. So that's probably going to be the best part, and meeting heaps of new people.
Just ahead, swapping tigers. If you've just joined us, welcome to Central News. A recent tiger swap between Auckland and Hamilton Zoo's male Sumatran tigers was just one effort to help further the international breeding program for this critically endangered big cat. Harriet spoke with zoo curator Samantha Kuduer to find out how the swap went.
So Auckland Zoo sent us their male tiger Oz, who's a 9-year-old male, and he was originally born in Israel in a zoo called Ramat Gan, and he was sent to our region, to Auckland Zoo, to breed, and he's now being sent down here to breed. And so we've swapped him with our existing male. His name was Jaka. Jaka was born in Wellington Zoo in the year 2000, and he came up here with his 2 sisters and as a very young cub, and they lived here at Hamilton Zoo as a trio for quite a number of years. One of his sisters went up to Auckland, and she actually bred with Oz when he first came over from Israel. And the other sister is still here, Manjari. And then Jaka has now moved up to Auckland Zoo to live where Oz was living.
So why are these tigers so critically endangered?
Sumatran tigers, as the name suggests, they come from Sumatra, which is an island. There's lots of pressure on the island habitat from people wanting to use it for palm oil plantations and acacia plantations, and generally just agricultural uses, and that means there's lots of pressure on the wild habitat that's getting cut down basically. So the habitat is decreasing. Tigers are also still poached for their body parts, and also when they come into conflict with human populations, and maybe there's a bit of aggression from tigers. The local villagers obviously don't like that very much, so there's lots of pressures from lots of different directions, and Sumatran tigers are restricted to an island, and so there may be even more pressure on them than some of the mainland subspecies.
How many are there estimated to be worldwide?
The estimations of the wild tigers, Sumatran tigers, are somewhere between 400 and 600. It's not an easy habitat to count tigers in, so it's a little bit vague, but I mean, even if there's 600, which is the most optimistic guess, that's a very, very small number.
Wow, that's not many at all. So tell us what this opportunity to breed means for your team.
Hamilton has been waiting a long time for the opportunity to breed tigers. We get into a breeding program like this to help out conservation efforts and help out in situ and zoo-based conservation efforts. So we know that we might be holding tigers without the opportunity to breed for a number of years, and then after you've done that, what happens is that the people coordinating the programs try and share out the breeding opportunities around the different zoos in the program. So we've been waiting a long time, and we're really very excited about the opportunity to have some cubs here.
And how were the tigers transported?
We're only up the road from Auckland, so it wasn't logistically as tricky as it could have been. We just did it by road. We have some very nice crates, and the tigers were just trained to walk into the crates, happily to be shut in the crate, so we're very familiar with that space. And then, pick a crate up, put a crate down, new tiger.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the Sumatran Tiger Global Species Management Plan?
The Global Species Management Plan looks at the global zoo population of Sumatran tigers. So it's one of the few programs, including others such as the Red Panda, which is managed on a global scale. Most of our other programs for different species are managed more regionally, and it means that zoos all over the world come together and consider the best way we can help the Sumatran tiger from the zoo perspective.
And when are you hoping to have some baby tigers arrive?
We would like to think that next Christmas might be baby tiger time, but it's really a lot to do with how the tigers behave and react. So we just take it at tiger time, really. We're just letting Oz settle in now, and once we're happy that he's very comfortable where he is, then we'll start thinking about introducing him to Sali.
What's the long-term vision for Sumatran tigers at the Hamilton Zoo?
Our long-term vision is to continue as we are, so contributing as appropriate to the breeding program, whether that's through breeding or through holding tigers that aren't in the running to breed. And also to continue to contribute to the in situ conservation programs that we do. So 21st Century Tiger is a global zoo conservation effort that helps tigers in the wild. We raise money through our Hamilton Zoo Conservation Fund, and some of that money goes directly into Sumatran tiger conservation.
Is there any way that the public can help or support the protection of these tigers?
We like to encourage people obviously to come to the zoo and to learn as much as they can about Sumatran tigers and all the other animals living in threatened habitats. You can contribute to our conservation fund or to other conservation initiatives that are helping wild tigers. And you can be very mindful when you're overseas, if you're going into these areas and as a tourist, think about what you're buying, make sure that what you're buying isn't generated from the wild habitat, and maybe put your tourist dollar into a project that's actually helping conserve the wild habitat. And also here in New Zealand we try and encourage people to be mindful when they're just making consumer decisions. So there's the palm oil campaign. Palm oil is a crop that is seriously having an impact on wild habitat of tigers, and if we don't use the amount of palm oil we are now, then the demand won't be there for those forests.
And is the Auckland Zoo also breeding tigers at the moment, or is it all up to your team from here on?
It's all breeding tigers is all us at the moment, but as I said, it swaps around the different zoos that are involved in the program. So Auckland is also contributing to the conservation just by being able to house tigers that we can't breed at the moment because we just don't have the space to breed as much as we would like to.
And how can we find out more about what's going on at the zoo?
You can just visit www.hamiltonzoo.co.nz and everything's on there. Nice brand new spanking new website. Any information that you like to know about the zoo is there, otherwise just give us a call.
Be sure to visit the Hamilton Zoo these summer holidays to see their new Sumatran tiger. That is the program for today. Like us on Facebook or email us at news@tvcentral.co.nz and let us know if you have any of your own news. Join me again tomorrow night when we discuss the changes to the electoral boundaries. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.